And we're live. Hello. We missed you very much. Hi. We missed you very much. I know, it's been 84 years. Oh, how are we muted? Uh-oh. Oh. Oh. Hmm. Sorry, friends. You're on. Mm-hmm. That's how it
Better.
seems. Alright, try now.
Are we
Hello?
better
Hello?
now?
Is that
Can
good?
you hear us?
We're gonna find out in a second when
Yeah.
people yell.
Yeah.
Please
We
let us
can
know.
now.
Because on my end
We
it looks
appreciate
okay.
letting us know.
Just a little
Okay.
quiet.
Does it look good? Just a little quiet.
Alright, let
Getting
me.
there. We're getting there.
We're working.
So
Sorry, y'all.
we are.
I'm being the tech goblin today, and we're working on it. We're making it
You're
work.
doing great.
Thanks,
Doing
but
great.
hopefully that's good. I turned y'all up a little bit, so okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, chat.
So Megan is being our illustrious tech goblin today because Robert is still recovering from life. We love him.
We
Sending
love you,
lots of good
Robert.
energy to him. Pew, pew, pew. How do we start these things again? It's been 5 years, like we said.
I don't know.
Like, say
well,
who we are and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, do we?
So, but we have an important announcement today. But before that, you need to be reminded what our names are. Hi, I'm Nat. My pronouns are he/they. I'm the guide. So I'm gonna be playing almost every character besides the four these chuckleheads are playing today. Almost. Why don't I chuck it over to our illustrious Sam so Megan can go last.
Sounds good. Hey everyone, I am Sam. I go by they, them pronouns, and I am playing Ro, our resident naturalist, who goes by they or any pronoun. And I'll drop it down to Nunu below me.
Oh, it's me second. Hi, I'm Nunu. He, him pronouns, and yeah, playing Zeg today. And let's see what happens. It's gonna be exciting. We've been off for way too long. Isa.
Hey, I'm Izza, aka Evil Clever Dog. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm playing Faris, the moody invoker, whose pronouns are also she, her.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Megan. And I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Lena, who also uses she, her pronouns, who is our just lovely spy who's just a bit of a disaster, and it's totally fine.
Bit of a disaster.
Just,
Bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well.
Delightful. So we have two important announcements today. First and foremost, we have been talking with the lovely designer and of this game we're playing, Quest, and we are excited to announce that the No Initiative crew are Quest affiliates starting like yesterday or something. Ha! Ha!
Yeah.
I believe our discount code is No Initiative.
No initiative.
All caps,
All caps.
one word.
Yes, no
Correct.
space, just no,
No
initiative.
space. No initiative.
And that will grant you a 10% discount of the game if you go to their store. I believe they still don't have physical books available to order, but you can get the digital copy or just wait until the physical one
They should be
arrives
coming
back in store.
in October, is what I've heard. Is that there should be a restock
Also,
in October of the cards, the books, the whole thing.
and they do this excellent thing. I did this, so I tell you it's super easy. Where if you buy the digital version and you later want to buy the physical version, they will discount you the entire cost you paid to the digital version from the physical one. It is excellent and easy.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Very
Pretty cool. Pretty cool of them.
Yeah. And also, along those lines, because I guess you've noticed, this season's kind of getting close to over. So because of that, we've decided that we are doing a second season of Quest to the Soaring City. These characters are going to go on a little bit longer. I'm so excited because I feel like 2 episodes wasn't going to be enough to finish out these characters' existences.
Yeah.
We weren't ready
Season 2
either.
hype.
Yeah, we weren't ready to say goodbye either. So
Yeah, definitely.
Love these jailbirds
yeah.
so much.
So good.
This wasn't a selfish decision at all for us. Nope,
No.
never.
Ah, what are you
It's really
talking
for
about?
the art.
Yes.
It can be both.
Yeah, we could be many things.
You
Alright.
can mean several things. So thanks for all of the love and support for this
Yes.
first season, because
Yeah.
we love these characters, but also knowing how much you all love these characters made it really easy to make the decision, so I want to keep playing with them.
Mhm.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and that brings us to actually today, because we're telling a story today. 5 years later, pick back up with our characters. That's a joke, by the way. We're picking up right where we left off. But
5 years after the
Edgy
snap.
teen row.
Yeah, right?
Oh boy.
all right. So, last session, little recap. They went into the vault where the wand of Lorelei is supposed to be found, as directed by Ella, their spider friend. They met a skeleton who was like, "You don't want this wand. This wand will end the world." And eventually, you talked him around to it, kind of. I'm sure he didn't have motives or anything. Nope.
In a way, only
and
Lena
Zake
and
was
Zake.
like, well, yeah, Zake was like, "I can't let Lena throw away her soul. My soul's half gone already." In the ensuing chaos, Lena was frozen solid by the skeleton's magic, and you also learned that his name was Arvis von Hrinth, a spookily familiar name. I'm sure that there's no plot related to that at all. However, Ferris was pretty cool and was like, "Hey, I got this new thing, and we're gonna bend the rules a little bit, and we're gonna unfreeze Lena, and hopefully it won't hurt a lot." It did hurt a lot, spoiler alert, but it worked, and
Hurts
Lena's
so
okay.
much.
It's like 70% of your HP. Don't worry about it.
It's
I love
fine.
you.
Self-sacrificing, moody bitch. That's
Yeah.
what she is.
After you got out of the mushroom, and the doctor had already made it way back to Valerith, you found that Valerith had flown away too far for you to return, and you've been effectively stranded. However, your lovely friend Arvis, the human one, up in from Valerith, was like, "Hey, something very telling." Said it told Ferris go for a walk with him, and that in exchange that he needed her up on the city, and that just for a little exchange of goods and services, he'll help you back home, and you help him out by advising one Alika Saidu to trust him. And at first he was kind of cagey as to why, but eventually got him to say that there was this oncoming catastrophe from the Knights of Sugraven, which are going to taint everyone who'd ever been healed by necromancy, which he equated to, killing thousands of lives, which was kind of alluded to when he was saying that he needs to do this for saving lots of people's lives. Ferris still didn't like it, but begrudgingly agreed to get the party home. After the party got home, he teleported everyone back, and he didn't appear with you. You found that your lovely baker who lives downstairs is getting his bakery torn out by the sewer works people. I'm sure Darnell had nothing to do with that. Sure. And then we also found that the city of Valerith was arriving in Orlath, the capital of the Orlath Empire. And not only that, we saw the Emperor in all her glory arriving up onto Valerith on a giant mechanized raised platform. The Cerulean Emperor. And that's where we cut. It was Zake and Lena on the balcony looking out at that affair.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Apologies for this very noisy goblin.
Rose just very loud from the other room. It's
Yeah.
It's tiny.
Tiny. Tiny shush.
He is a small wolf. Yeah. So,
as Ferris, I guess this is a place to start. Zake and Lena on the balcony. I don't remember where Ro was, but Ferris, you notice that your door to your room is slightly ajar. Yeah, it's not a door; it's ajar. Insert comedy here.
Not.
we'll be here for 3 hours, folks.
It doesn't get better, so make your decision wisely.
I guess Faris will head over and peek inside, push the door open slightly. Still kind of on alert, but
Sure. So as you open the door to your room, two things happen. Well, no, one thing happens, but you notice two things. The thing that happens is your spear begins to glow like as it does, like the sun, just like it did when you first imbued it up in the tower. Second thing happens, you notice there were two pieces of parchment on your bedside table. One, just a single piece of parchment folded in the middle, creased. Second one, a fully enclosed letter with the name Faris written on it in calligraphy.
Is there anyone in the room?
You do not see anyone in the room with your, human senses.
Sorry, looking at my abilities, it's been a while. One sec. Nope, okay, never mind. I will cautiously look at the letters and see if they're written in the same handwriting as each other.
So, are you opening the enclosed letter?
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wave my spear over the letters and see if it glows more strongly over one of them than the other.
And the spear doesn't react.
Cool, okay. I guess, yes, I'm opening the closed letter then. The sealed letter.
All right. So as you open the sealed letter, you're able to, I don't know, you might recognize Arvis's hand. I don't know. But it says, it is addressed, Faris of the Soaring. So sorry for cutting our conversation short. If you find your resolve flagging, you know where to find me. What I've asked of you requires conviction. Lives are on the line. I have the honor to be your obedient servant, Avon Hrinth.
Don't like that.
And I'm good. And I just threw that in our Zoom chat, so you have the text.
Thank you. Faris pretty much recoils at seeing the first line of that letter, but will then kind of sigh and pick up the other one.
The second one is written from Alika Saidu. Faris Munir, thank you. By all accounts, you and Raina saved my life. I'm sorry I couldn't linger to thank you properly. I have an offer for you. If you're interested, you can find me in Crown Tower attending to our visiting emperor. I can step away from her for you. Sorry to make you come to me. Storm clouds are gathering. I hold you in my thoughts, Alika Saidu.
Okay.
It's almost like there's a contrast between those two letters.
Yeah, just a bit. Is the spear still glowing? Does it
Yes.
remain?
Yep. Do you think it's maybe dimming ever so slightly?
If I start to move out of the room, does it still glow?
Yeah, in fact, it gets brighter.
I would like to try and figure out what direction I need to go in to keep it glowing brightly, please.
It starts heading, as you're doing that, I imagine some of the other denizens of the tower might see you waving your spear around in the middle of the living hallway.
Yeah, maybe.
And they would probably notice you kind of following it and drifting upwards towards the siege outlook.
Is that
where the telescope
roof?
is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the roof.
It's where Lena spends her nights.
Yeah. Is anyone else around, or is Faris alone right now?
No, everyone sees you.
Are you okay? Everything good?
No, I imbued this sphere with a power that makes it glow when adversaries are close, and it is glowing inside our home. And I found a letter from Arvis in my room, as well as a letter from Alika, who was gone.
You hear a little like pitter patter, almost like a rat through the roof, but a little sharper, heavier.
I think we need to
Well,
get up
To the roof!
We're all in the
All
same
right.
space, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
didn't take the
alright.
time to hyper define where everyone was
Yeah, I
because
just
I
wanted to
figured you
make
could figure it
sure.
out.
Yeah. It's like, I'll go see if I can find out what it is. And I'm just gonna pop into like a hawk and fly out the like balcony and just start heading up like immediately.
That's faster.
As you whip around in the sky, you can very clearly see that there's no obvious thing in the siege outlook. On the outlook.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just knocking down the AP cost before I forget. Do
It
I?
costs points.
Yeah. Do I see like any sort of crawl spaces or something? Like entries, like vents or something?
Yeah, there's a grate.
Can a hawk fit in? Because I will just go in and just sort of hop down and like listen.
You could probably fit in the grate, but you in the hole that the grate is covering, but you need someone to remove the grate.
Ah,
Well,
And I imagine that might be kind of difficult in hawk mode.
yeah. I just sort of peck at it for a second, and I'll go back to the balcony wherever everybody else will be coming out.
Well, I imagine as you're pecking at it, Ferris probably starts arriving up the stairs.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
definitely going upstairs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I see anybody, I just start squawking. I don't know what sound hawks make.
It's like
Ah!
Well, the red-tailed hawk is the classic
like a
eagle noise you hear in a lot
screech,
of
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Did somebody go in the grate? I'll go over to it, and is it like screwed in?
No, you just gotta kind of like give it like
Yeah.
a little sharp like.
Yeah, I'll just grab it with my mechanical arm and just
Easy.
like, be safe.
Caca! I'll hop in.
All right. So as your hawk mode hopping through this vent, you hear something dunk 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 ing up ahead. And you have to go in actually pretty far, and it takes a branch to the left and to the right. And as you get to the branch, your eagle eyes of your hawk see this mechanical puck. It's bigger than a puck. And it has these little spider-like legs that come out. You know, like little classic little pokey legs that robots often have. And this puck turns, and part of it folds open, and a knife comes out. And it begins walking towards you.
It's a crab with a knife.
I
Robot
want this
crab with a
Roomba.
knife.
It's
a Doomba.
Knifey the Roomba.
It's a
Oh my
Doomba.
God,
It's a Doomba.
So good.
I don't destroy it. I need to make it my friend.
I make no promises. I don't imagine this vent is big enough for like human row, right?
If you reverted to human shape, you would be like coin toss whether you'd be stuck or just very cramped.
Okay.
Mm.
That is fine. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't gonna like, I don't know, meat grinder
Die.
myself if I transformed in a vent.
No. If you were another character, because your row's pretty small by comparison.
Yeah.
True. Okay, so I don't know how far back I'm in. I'm gonna just sort of start like hopping backwards and like try to peck at this thing if it gets too close.
It's definitely going to get up to you. It's pretty fast.
Okay, it's faster. All right. I'll just sort of,
Faster than a hopping hawk on the ground.
I'm
that,
sure.
You know.
All right, then I'll start like backing up. But if it like hits me, I'm gonna turn around to fuck with it.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, so it's going to.
But you will
run up and
definitely
try-
hear the cacao warnings.
I told you
It's
to
gonna
be
try to
safe.
stab you.
Yeah, it can do that. Let me grab a thing. You need a roll for it?
It rolls. As it up and kind of twists, because the knife isn't like on a arm, it just moves its puck body and it stabs you for 2 points of damage.
Okay. To Hakro.
To Hakuro.
Yeah, Hakro. Hakro don't care. It's fine.
All
All right.
What do you do against the Doomba?
I'm gonna just sort of turn around and I want to try to like peck one of its legs off.
Sure.
Hoping it'll help
Are
slow
you
it down.
prioritizing trying to hurt it, or are you prioritizing trying to immobilize it?
Prioritizing trying to immobilize it, and that was
All
a
right, so
natural
give me a roll.
20.
Well, you definitely do it. So I
Ah.
think what happens is you take your little hawk beak, grab one of its legs, like grabbing a bug, and just yeet it over and upturn it on its head. And there's a
Oh,
nice loud
man.
clank that emanates out of the grate, and its legs just kind of flail a little bit, and then they just stop moving as it gives up.
That's pretty much what happened to my Roomba last night, so accurate. Is this thing like heavy? Can I drag it out with like my beak while it's upside down? Can I try?
Yeah, I think you can drag it. I mean, it's probably about the peak of your drag ability, but I think everyone else sees as a hawk hops out of your vent, dragging their robot Roomba by a leg.
I'll just sort of leave it like in the rim so that I don't risk like knocking it over so it can run away again and fly down to land on like Lena's mechanical arm and just sort of caca cheerfully.
Thank
You
you,
can
Ro.
see that the bird has a bit of a wound with a little bit of blood coming out of it.
Caca!
I told you to be safe.
I'll hop on down and change back and be like, I was!
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine now. See, it's gone. And I'll like spin around so you can see that actually the damage is healed now.
Yeah.
All right, what's
Okay,
that?
Good. Now, what's this thing?
Ah!
Yeah.
Can
Lee,
I?
You're good with mechanical stuff.
Yeah, can I take a look at it, kind of knowing what's up with mechanic things?
Yeah, actually, so you're going to get some information by rote, but I actually want you to roll the die to see
Okay.
if you can discern some fine details.
That's a 6.
So a 6 is actually a mixed success in this game.
Oh, I always forget where the line is. Oh, yep, that's where it is.
It
That's
is
the
the
line.
bottom of the mixed success.
That's the
All right. So, so the first thing first of all, you can recognize this as a mechanical construction. Somebody probably put this together. It seems fairly advanced. It's like mechanical things are not unheard of. I mean, you saw the walker that the Orleth Empire had, but they're not common. The second thing you note, and this is all I'm going to give you because you're going to make success, is that this is the same kind of metal that Darnell used to try to murder you all with. Same tenor, kind of texture. It leaves this little, like, ever so slightly wavy texture whenever he morphs metal, and this seems to match that.
mother. Can I, like, grab the blade with my mechanical hand and just try to snap it off?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna say you
roll-
can just do that.
oh, just-
It has stopped moving because it's just hasn't put the effort in. Just and snap it off kind of short.
Yeah. Just so at least it's not like a weapon.
Yeah.
Now it's just a Roomba.
It folds that part back into itself, and it bonks as it's warped and can't close anymore.
Drop that. This, I mean, I've never seen anything like it before, but I did get a decent look at what Lord Darnell does when he warps metal, and this looks awfully similar to that. So I think that this was another nice little messenger. Do you want me to drop it off the roof, or? I mean, because we can do that.
Sorry, the Darnell warps metal?
Oh yeah, I forgot you weren't here.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
missed that part.
Yeah, he like does all sorts of stuff with metal. Like for instance, like hypothetically, he could probably like take a coin and turn it into a giant spike that would stab through someone. Should they be holding that coin? Like hypothetically, that's something that he would be able to do.
He can also make copies of himself,
Yep, he
apparently.
can do that. Yeah, he could also hypothetically just like smash a spear up real good. Hypothetically.
Oh, and there are all these bigger robot thingies too that came down in the elevator.
Oh, okay. So probably he did those himself in that case. Okay. And I'm gonna go on a wild guess and say that all these hypothetical things actually happened. Yes.
Oh yeah, every single one.
Yeah,
No,
of
I can
course.
neither confirm nor deny.
I thought that was what hyper-technical meant.
Good, because it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
matter
close.
because it was not used properly anyway.
I mean,
Um.
you don't know.
Okay, so this thing, I guess we're not
Right? Just like
free from Darnell. So I guess you the time. I don't know. Is he still coming after us? What's the deal?
like I don't know what else this can do. I don't know if he can like see through it. It seems a little, I don't know, inefficient to send like a small scuttling stabbing robot
It does stab pretty
First-
good though.
versus just look at Ro. You said you were fine.
Oh yeah, but like it still did that pretty good.
Okay.
I have to
Um,
wonder whether I go into my room, I have a letter from Alika and a letter from Arvis. And then my spear was glowing as I walked into the room, and then we find this thing.
Is it still glowy?
Is
Well,
it
yeah,
still
the thing's right in front of you. You're really close to a threat.
just like taps the spear on it.
Tap tap.
Ah, okay, so we don't really have time to deal with this idiot now. I think.
so
I mean,
throw
there
it
might
off?
be a way for me to find out. Oh yeah, destroy it.
Yeah, just chuck it.
I'm just gonna toss it off of the roof as hard as I can.
Never thought I'd see the day. Megan, destroying a robot so utterly. Yeah, you chuck the thing and it
Now I'm
spins slightly
sad.
and smashes down onto the cobblestones and flies into a few dozen pieces.
Cool.
Yeah, let's find another one and do it again.
Oh, you can throw the next one, Ro. Promise.
Yes.
All right.
I don't like any of this. There's
Now is the spear still glowing?
Oh, and when it smashes the spear, glow goes away.
yeah.
Bye bye, Doomba.
We got 'em all.
Sorry, Dumba.
I know.
Okay, so we have a potential disease that can wipe the entire city,
Mhm.
and we just went and gathered ingredients for that. We have this and kind of draws the wands to hopefully figure out how to use it to stop me from disappearing.
We've got all this.
You pull the
pointing
wand
at-
out. If you pull the wand out, you could swear is just the temperature just drops by a couple degrees.
Put it away.
We got this whole
And-
situation.
Darnell, you mean?
Oh no, I meant
Darnell and
pointing at
Arvis.
the emperor and like all of that jazz.
Well, I don't think that
Sure,
should
that as
be-
I'm sure that's just background detail.
that doesn't concern us at all. It was just visiting. We'll be gone when the city moves on. It's fine. Let's just lay low, Lena. And then you have letters, you say?
Yes. So Alika's gone to attend to the visiting emperor, so she's with her.
So
She
it's
said I could
not
come and visit her if I wanted to, but
You're not gonna go? She asked you to. She basically was like, you should come.
it's a little complicated right now. So Arvis wants me to advise Alika to take his counsel. He wants me to tell her that I trust him, but I don't trust him at all. So I'm not sure what to do about that. He said I could talk to the doctor about what he told me, but I haven't seen the doctor here. Have any of you?
Oh,
No.
no. Maybe we should check the patient room. Maybe he's there.
Maybe.
All right, I have a few things to do, so I can go down and check that, and then I'll let you know.
Well, I need to find him.
What
so
things?
That's all. That's.
I have an idea for something. Just came to me.
Oh, that
I'll do it.
definitely sounds like something that's not trouble at all whatsoever. So great. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you do. Yeah,
It's-
take care of your things that you just thought of right now.
It's not trouble. Sooner or later, I have to understand how this wand works. If we're not going to find someone that can help us, then or at least until we don't find someone that can help us, I need to try it for myself. As simple as that. We're on a clock here. We all know that when I made a decision to grab it.
Right.
And I'm also on the clock with this decision as to whether I should tell Alika to trust Arvis, and apparently thousands of lives are in danger in that situation too.
I'm just not convinced about this, Ferris. What was the deal with the skeleton dude with Billy Bones? He said his name was Arvis's name, right?
I don't
Let's
know.
not forget that.
He did
I
say
know,
that.
I'm not forgetting that. There are too many disparate things and too little information that we actually have, and I don't like that.
Agree. So, all right. What if you go and meet Alika, see what she wants? Maybe that will influence your decision. I will try and understand how this wand works. And then we'll reconvene here, see if we need to demand any more explanation from Arvis, or if we just make the decision to trust him. He has been helpful.
Conditionally helpful.
Well, I
Didn't
mean,
want to
who?
mention it at the time, but he was basically saying he was going to strand the rest of you out there if I didn't agree to help him.
Oh,
I mean, that
wonderful.
sounds like a human thing to do. By and large, they're garbage. But, I mean, it's like a you scratch my back, I scratch yours type of thing. So, like, I get it. It sucks, but
Yeah, I find it quite difficult to trust someone who tried to essentially guilt me into helping him by threatening to leave my friends out in the middle of nowhere with no transport home.
that's
That's
true.
fair.
I will say, for what it's worth, that at least information that I have received from him has been true. So even though we might not like him or his methods of going about things, his intel has largely been proven correct. So if what he has told you is happening, I would have to believe that it is. I don't know how Alika fits into that, but I don't know. I think that we need to give some credence to what he told you.
Okay. And we know that the doctor trusts him, so that's a plus. Anyway,
He's always
let's
been
go and-
super nice to me.
Yeah,
He's
been
got
super
real
nice
good
to Rob.
snacks.
and there's that as well.
But like, I don't know. He was always really nice. Like his house is really pretty, but he never like got upset when I got dirt or frosting all over stuff. Some people really don't like that. And I just sort of nod at Zeke.
That frosting was there.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't mad at all the moment we left. Anyway, okay. Ferris, this is just my opinion, but I'd say it's Alika and then demand satisfaction from Arvis and question about this skeleton um, thing. So that's what I'd do, but it's your call. I'm gonna go check on the doctor unless you need me for anything else. Anyone?
Well, I need to see the doctor, so sorry if you don't want my company, but I'm coming down there as well.
Oh, in that case, just let's go. Just assumed that he wanted to mull over the decision a little bit more, but never mind.
Well, talking to the doctor is part of that, so
As you're having this
Okay.
banter while heading down the stairs,
Very
you
good.
come upon the doctor's door, and on it is pinned a note, hastily scrawled. It says, "Friends, I've found a lead on a bone of the hollow, and must act quickly. I'm still on city. I'll be okay, promise, Doctor."
Well, that answers that.
Well, that's why
Great.
we didn't hear him.
Fantastic. I don't suppose any of you know anything about the Knights of Suravane.
Of what now?
Suravane.
Does that ring a bell, Nat?
I think maybe the doctor mentioned it once.
Oh, isn't that?
He said something about it being having a very particular opinion on justice.
Oh, aren't those like the weird knights that the doctor speaks of sometimes?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. That's about the extent that I have, honestly.
Arvis said it's something to do with them. They're doing something that's going to taint necromantic magic and affect people who've been healed by it.
Ooh.
If he's telling the truth, that is something I would like to avoid happening very much.
Yeah, someone who's had an awful lot of necromantic healing magic pumped into her in the past. I mean, yeah, definitely for like the greater good, that's probably a good thing that we should try to avoid. I'm fine.
Necromantic magic is, and has been for quite a while, a regular part of the healing magic regimen.
Okay, I think
I have to go talk to one of them.
I think we'll need to speak to both. It's just a matter of deciding which one you do first.
Well, now that we're not under threat of you guys being left out in the wilderness, I feel more able to speak to Arvis, but I'm not sure how to go about this.
Which one do you think will bring the most amounts of answers our way, Ferris? Each conversation.
I don't think Alika even knows about this situation. That's the problem.
But the fact that she wants to speak to you, I would assume there's answers to be had, even if it is to questions we haven't posed.
Maybe.
And what are the chances that Arvis is going to give you any more information if you show up having not talked to Alika already? If he is a tit-for-tat type.
I do have my tricks, but I suspect he's a lot more powerful than he lets on. And before, I didn't want to jeopardize our chances of getting home, so I just agreed.
Well,
of course.
Now we're home, so we have a little more wiggle room.
Alika's the one who helped us get out of the jailhouse box, right?
Yeah.
Oh, she was really nice too. If she and Arvis are both from the city for a long time, she might know something about him that would help you decide.
That's a good point. To be honest, I know which one I'd rather go and see, so...
Well,
I guess I'll go see Alika first.
There you go, Dan.
Are you going alone?
I don't have to. if anybody wants to come with me, I would welcome the company.
That's how you communicate. Anything that I want to do is a little more time involved. So yeah, let's do this. I'll go.
Unless you really want me to join for conversational purposes.
Oh, I can talk to people just fine.
Yeah, Faris, up to you. Otherwise, I'll just stay here and work on understanding this. Down glances at the wand.
Well, don't go getting yourself into trouble.
All right.
Never.
I would welcome your company if you want to come with us, Sake.
That is not what I was... All right, Faris, just tell me, should I go or should I stay?
Should I go now?
We all start dancing.
All of a sudden, he's like,
Go. Simple,
you're having an awful-
simple yes or no.
you're having an awfully hard time making decisions lately.
It's not my decision to make. I have things to do here, but if my help is needed, then I'll assist.
I mean, we could bring Ro. Ro's a great conversationalist.
I can come.
Certainly a charmer.
Thank you.
Learning
You
from
sort
the
of
best.
Sit up a little straighter.
I mean, if you think you can get any work done on the wand here by yourself, go for it.
All right.
All right, so what I'm hearing is the crew is going with Ferris to go to Crown Tower to entreat Alika, and Zake is going to hang out and spend some quality time with Wand.
If there's like a place near there, near Crown Tower, like I can like sit down and be in private and analyze things, like a library perhaps, or something like that, then he would stay there just in case they need their help.
They have an archive building that's available, but they have... Valerith has a little bit of a history with like tainted magical artifacts and such. So just branching around in the archives might draw more attention than you would expect. It's up to you though. I'm not saying no.
I'll stay home for now.
And yeah, as we're heading out, I think Lena just like hangs back and like pops her head in the room and be like, don't do anything stupid, okay?
Just opening closets at this point. No, don't worry. I've another thing that I want to do. Also, since we're in Orlath, do you want to, like, I don't know, maybe blend in a little bit more? I don't know.
Yes. Yes, I do want to do that. I'm gonna like lean out and be like, Ferris, it'll just be like 3 to 7 minutes. And I'm gonna run up the stairs to my room.
Somehow both specific and vague at the same time.
That's how it is, baby.
What's the outfit change come out like?
Oh god, I don't know. I'm gonna mark off my AP. I'm gonna use disguise. So I think that, alright, if we're in Orlath and we're like going to like see the Emperor, I'm gonna put on a pretty dress, which is not normally my thing. Long sleeves so that it, like, my arm looks bulky under it, but not to the point where it's like very super visible. Gloves, so everything looks just like real human. And I think I'm gonna just like cover all my freckles and do like, my hair's normally like very loose and down and devil may care, and I think I'm just gonna like kind of just as quickly but still nicely as possible just kind of like pile it up into like a fancy looking updo on my head. But yeah, like just like a nice like fancy dress. And I'm just like, as soon as I'm in, I'm like, this is really uncomfortable.
Fair enough.
and just go back downstairs.
As Lena's I hear the footsteps coming down. Zeke will just pop out of the room with a scarf in his hands, a light summery scarf. This, take it as well.
Okay.
I am not sure what that can do, but it definitely can do something. Just in case. I think it's some kind of protection. Just take it.
Okay.
As Lena was changing, Zeke was kind of using the wands, trying to understand how it works, and kind of sparked something onto the scarf as he casts Enscroll with a spell.
How dare you
That I'll-
learn
Is it
magic?
doing magic?
How
And I'll
dare
let
you
you
learn
know
magic?
what it does.
Not even a wizard for a full day, and look at this.
So, like, what does that do?
Enscroll lets me store a spell in a spell scroll, just flavoring it as the scarf.
Sure.
And then the person that has it can use it.
What's
That's
the
it.
spell?
The spell I'm inscribing is Spell Steal, but not that he knows or Lena knows, but Spell Steal.
Delightful.
I'm gonna.
All right.
Let me see if it's like a longer time. I'm gonna like use it as like a sash because I don't want to mess up my
Nice.
accessorizing. Just like tie it about my waist like a fancy little sash. Thanks.
All right.
I guess. Good luck with everything. Don't just be here when we get back. Okay?
Can't promise that.
Just Alright, well.
I'll try
won't-
really hard. I promise.
Okay. I mean, I won't know until we get back anyway, so yeah, just make good choices.
Always.
Right. As Ferris and Lena and Ro make their way out of the building, you go through the currently what is amounting to a construction site. You get the smell of tar and adhesives, and most of the room is actually closed. They're resurfacing it in this very boring gray tile.
Cover Ro's eyes as we walk around.
I'm like peeking through the fingers.
Yeah. And as you make your way outside, you can see that actually there's some other construction work going on. There's there were 3 other shops that are getting built in right now, but they're not done. As you make your way towards the center of Valerith, because Crown Tower is the tallest tower and also in the center of the city, because it kind of scoops out.
I have a question.
Oh, you
for
got something,
Ferris.
Megan?
As we're just like walking, and I assume we're walking in like this weird quiet because it's just like very emotionally charged. We're just like walking, and Lena's just like, "Hey, Ferris.
Hmm?
Just like a random question for you, because Zeke didn't know the answer to it. Well, he knew an answer, but it wasn't a great answer, so you probably know more because you're like smarter and better than him in most things.
Oh, didn't expect you to say that, but thank you.
Do you know what an ardent is? I think it's from like where you're from.
I'm gonna cut
Uh,
away at that moment because I'm mean.
I hate you.
We're coming back right there,
I've been
but
waiting
I'm gonna
so
cut
long.
back to Zeke.
Feels the
Zeke, you're
pang of
preparing
Lena's
for
insult.
whatever you're doing. In the hallway, just by the balcony, and you get struck by a pang of what feels like a nausea at first. Your vision flickers, and you see what you can recognize as the other side, the Shadow Realm, for a moment. But you're not there, you're just viewing it. It's a room, but it's like a pod, and you can see it reflected up in an entire wall, like the beginning of the Matrix, where there's just these replicating pods all the way up. There's a sharp needle hanging down over a like something shaped roughly like a chair. A blade is positioned, and then you find yourself coming back, rocketing back to your senses, and you feel this wave of nausea, or like you're going to throw up your stomach.
What? That's new. Just looks around, like sits down for a moment until the nausea passes, and
The nausea actually gets stronger. Yeah, your stomach seems determined to come out of you.
runs out the balcony.
Excellent. While you're out on the balcony, with your head all the way off the side,
Yep.
You spy something concerning. Concerning? Question mark. You spy one of the gondolas coming back to Valerith from Orlath, and on the gondola you spy a familiar visage, one butlery friend, Arvis, flying back in from Orlath.
What is he doing?
The nausea finally subsides.
Huh. Should I wait? Should I go alone?
Popping back over to Lena and Ferris. Right where we left. Just wanted a little bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah, I guess it's a thing in Shamsara. I don't know if it's a thing elsewhere, but an ardent is a person who can. They have the ability to sort of emanate their emotions into other people and make them experience the same emotions as them.
Are they bad?
Not necessarily. I mean, naturally, they can be viewed with a lot of suspicion. You know, that sort of ability can be extremely dangerous, but then so are my abilities in the wrong hands.
Right. So, where you're from, if somebody was an Arden, they would just go about their lives, like they wouldn't be like persecuted or just like chased away from a place or like killed or anything.
Actually, would Faris know that?
Yeah, totally. But you could decide.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure if that was like an inbuilt lore thing.
No.
I mean, I suppose it depends situation by situation. If someone uses their abilities to do harm, then like anyone else, they would be reprimanded.
Okay. All right. And they're just from where you are?
I mean, I don't know if they're only from Shamsara, but certainly I've heard a lot about them being there.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Why?
That I like looks at small child Ro. Like just a friend, a mutual friend of ours mentioned them to me, and it was just a little concerning because I just didn't know what that meant. But somebody that I used to know apparently was one and got in trouble for it. Our mutual friend. told me that.
Right.
And I just didn't know what it was or why it would have gotten her into trouble, but... Oh, there it is. Oh.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, raises a lot more questions than gives answers. I thought it would just be like really easy once I talked to this friend. That would be that, and now there's like a lot of questions. It would
Yeah,
just
seems to be a
really...
running theme, huh?
Yeah, it kind of sucks. So, well, thanks. I'll let that fester in my brain for a little bit until it comes out in a way that's unpleasant for everybody.
I hope it helps in some way. Knowing.
I think it does. I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. Oh. Yeah.
I'll take that as a no.
I don't know yet.
Again, a lot of that going around.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's go get some answers. Some, like, real
So,
answers.
just for my own personal enjoyment, Sam, what's Ro been up to during this, very serious, not involving Ro conversation?
Sorry,
Like as you're
Ro.
walking.
Let's see. I think just sort of given all of the weird shit going on, Rue's not actually really going to be straying too far from the others. So they're probably, I'm going to say they've just been walking next to Ferris, like with their arm looped through one of hers, and they're honestly just kind of listening real quietly right now. They've got their wolf hood like pulled up, so you can't really see them. You just sort of see this like big old gray wolf head like moving up and down while they walk. But they're listening a lot right now because they had kind of a heavy last session, like for Row, where they lost their flute, which is like the only gift they've ever really gotten. So that got crushed last session from their only friend before the party, and they overheard the whole conversation with, or much of the conversation with Arvis and Ferris. So they are also kind of resisting trying to ask Ferris about that a little bit because they don't want to do that right now while she is already upset. But they're just kind of taking in a lot of the adult talk right now and kind of internalizing the conversation happening.
I swear Ro has more emotional intelligence than a lot of people I know.
They're used to listening. That's what you kind of got to do when you're out hunting and in the wilds and spying on random travelers in your woods. You gotta know if you can trust. You gotta listen first and see what they're up to.
And know when to hold them. Know when to fold them.
Exactly. They don't always, know actually when to do those things. But right now, they're learning. I think they're able to still detect the tone of like, oh, this isn't like an adult kind of private conversation, like for older pack members.
All right. So, y'all are heading to Crown Tower. Nunu, what is Zake trying to get up to? Is it just... Oh, Nunu is Frozeland. Oh, Nunu's not Frozeland.
He's just very
Zake,
stoned.
what is...
I am
Nunu, what is
almost
Zake...
Land, but...
what are you trying to get up to today? Is it just fuck around with wand and see if any magic comes out? Or is it something more concrete?
Yeah. Just playing with it around a little bit, see what happens, what doesn't happen, see if he understands how to use it. It's just a narrative way for me to know what my spells do.
Sure. You did mention maybe going off on your own once after you saw Arvis. Was that changing that plan?
I think he would wait. I think he would wait for Faris at least. Otherwise, he doesn't want to clash too much.
How dare you?
It's not his conversation to have.
Unexpected, but appreciated.
Look at you, just
Growth.
reducing the drama.
Growth.
Character development. We have it. Here it is.
All right.
Yay! No, and also he's gonna spend some time picking at his wardrobe and writing things in little pieces of paper,
Very exciting.
things that make no sense, like earth salt, and just sticking it on one piece of clothing and hanging it on the door, and just making there's a method to it, almost as if he's making something, bringing something to life, someone to life. That's it.
Hey,
for now.
hey, the last time I heard someone say it was a method to their madness, it was Lena, and I didn't trust it.
And look where we ended up. Everything's fine.
Was
There
that
is literally
before or
no
after she
method.
swung off an island.
There is zero method to her madness. It's just madness.
All
She
right.
just gets lucky.
That's the difference between us.
All right. So, Ro, Lena, and Ferris all arrive at Crown Tower in the center of Valerith. There is quite an imperial presence here, as there are actually, in addition to just people from the capital being around, there's quite a few imperial guards. They all wear a very characteristic blue, cerulean blue and gold outfit because it matches the name and all that. It is themes that run through this.
Brand
Fight
recognition
me.
is important.
Yeah.
I appreciate the like aesthetic cohesion. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But they don't stop you from going into the tower.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting. Alika said that she was like going to see the Emperor, so I'm assuming she's in some kind of like council chamber of some kind, and we need to like, do we need to like ask around where it is, or are they just letting us wander?
All right. So I'm just going to answer this by describing what you see as you walk into the tower. So as you walk into Crown Tower, it has a spiraling ramp. You ever been to like the Guggenheim Museum in New York?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that.
Cool, nice.
Just spirals up with things along it, but in addition to just like art, which there is quite a bit of art around, there is also break-off rooms that go out in each direction. And actually, as you're looking at it, you realize that the interior of this tower is actually just like 10 feet on either side bigger than the exterior. It's like bigger on the inside, but not ridiculously so. As you're able to gaze on up this whole procession going up, there is a crowd up about halfway on one of the sides, and you see a lot of imperial blue, and get the sense that there might be a center of activity there.
Okay, I guess that's where we're heading. Ferris will try and kind of, she doesn't like to do this, but she is technically wearing her Solari uniform, so she's just going to like extend the spear so she's walking with it and just look more important than she actually technically is.
Say Lena's definitely gonna like try to like flatten any wrinkles out of her dress and just like try to look like less of a disaster than she is. Like, nope, this is fine. It's fine. I'm comfortable.
Rose
And Ro?
barefoot and disgusting. And wearing a dead animal on their head.
Oh.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Mhm.
Delightful.
And they are perfect.
Just
Alright,
about an
so-
arm length through Ferris's.
Yeah.
It is quite busy. And as you walk, Ferris in particular, you kind of split the crowd a little bit.
Hell yeah.
But there is quite a jog, not a literal jog, but a jaunt on up to get to what things are happening. And you just eventually get this point where there's just a wall of people, but you're able to see as you're approaching from on the outside that given a little bit of space is the Emperor and Alika. Very clashing of styles. One is very grand and gaudy, and the other is a little more utilitarian, a sword. But I have they actually both have weapons. The Emperor, she has a big ass spear, and Alika has a sword. But they are taking that you can recognize it, that pace of a walk where the point is the conversation, not where you're going.
Right. The walk and talk. The West Wing walk and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Walk with
As
me.
you're winding around, Alika catches sight of you. And you don't hear it because there's too much noise going around, but she has this moment where you can tell she's telling the Emperor to hold a minute. She has something she has to do, and she parts the crowd to leave.
Faris will just stand there. She like catch Alika's eye and kind of like nod her head over in her direction, in Faris's direction. And as Alika approaches, Faris will just mutter, "Did you seriously just dismiss the Emperor to talk to me?"
As Alika was walking over, I
that
definitely
okay?
like did this to Ferris. Like,
She tries to ignore Lena.
The Emperor is actually, it's very, very collected, but you can tell, like, she stops walking. She looks over to watch to see what could be so important, and she sees a Solari in full garb, and maybe that settles her mind. As Lika walks up, well, you did save my life. I owe you, don't I?
You don't owe me anything. We need to talk somewhere where other people can't hear.
Come on. And she just brings you down into one of the side rooms, just one off from where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of steps behind you and looks at Lena and Ro, just, friends of yours?
Yes, they can come too.
well,
All right. And she opens up into a side room, and as the door, there is quite a bit of the room is ringed in a grand mural, the circular side room, which depicts a vast war scene from Valera's past as a flying siege fortress. There's a lot of death on it, but as the door closes, the outside din goes silent. A little too fitting.
that's handy.
It's incredibly ostentatious.
Well, we inherited it. Valerith has a bit of a history with military. I'm sure I don't have to tell you.
No.
But it puts us in an odd place now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm incredibly curious about what's going on here, but there's another matter we need to discuss.
She seems a little stunned, like, wait, there's more? Oh, do you want to go first or should I?
You go first because I really don't know where to start.
All right. This fractured history and experience with military leaves us in a weakened state where we are to face new enemies when storm clouds gather and start to challenge our independence. We need people who prioritize us as a community before a military, and we need trust. And I could think of no one better. I want to offer you a position.
Wait.
Vanguard of Valerith.
Me?
Who better?
You... What would that even mean?
That's a very good question. We're something new here, so it means what you can convince people it means, but it gives you credence. It lets you try to make decisions. And I would value your sway over, or like I said, we are a city before we are a fortress. and we need someone who can recognize that. I think that's you. But we also need someone who's really, really good at defending it. And those don't overlap very often.
Well, I know I'm good at fighting. I don't really feel like I'm good at much else, but I'm honored that you.
Well, you used to lead Force of Solara, didn't you?
I guess. I'll. Okay, can we set that aside for a second?
One more thing first. And she reaches into her pocket and pulls out a badge of office. I want you to hold on to it while you make a decision.
Sure. Thank you. She'll reach out her hand.
Isa, what does it look like?
Ooh. Well, if it's a badge of Valerith, I feel like it's got to have some sort of like winged design to it. Sort of like sharp edges, mechanical looking, but with very clear, distinct sort of like winged pattern to it.
Okay. I'm gonna let you design it because you gotta preserve the aesthetic.
Yeah. What are the colors of Valerith? Does it have like the new independent Valerith?
Haven't gotten that far yet. Like my instinct is blue, but like that's the Empire.
Yeah, what I was thinking, so in the artwork I did for Alika, she was wearing purple and green and gold. So I'm thinking maybe something with like a dark steel and with purple trim. So it kind of like maybe if those are
Ooh,
like
yes, that's
the colors
canon
of the revolution. Yeah. Ferris kind of turns it over in her hands, and you can see her hands shaking a little bit as she holds it. And she continues to kind of almost like fidget with it as she begins talking about the next subject that they had to bring up. You say that you trust me. I already knew that. I didn't know quite to what extent. This is anyway, do you know a man named Arvis?
Von Hunt?
Yeah.
He's outspoken along some community issues. We tend to agree.
Okay,
Haven't
that's a
met
good
in person.
starting point. Our friend Falwyn Daynor, he is a friend of his. We've gotten to know him through him. The reason I wasn't here when you woke up is because we went with Falwyn to procure some ingredients for a cure to a disease that he could make. And while Falwyn made it back to the city, we did not make it back onto the city in time. And
yet here you are.
And yet here we are, thanks to Arvis. However, when he showed up, he basically gave us the opportunity to come back in exchange for me talking to you on his behalf. And I feel like I need to be honest with you. He asked me to tell you that I trust him and that you should trust him too, but I'm not certain I can trust him, but if he's telling the truth about what he wants me to tell you, then I feel like we need to be able to trust him.
Well, I mean, trading favors, recommendations, it's very political, but it's not abnormal, but you seem shaken by something.
He told me that there is a calamity of some sort coming our way, on top of the other stuff we're already dealing with.
She looks back out towards the door for a second.
He said there was a threat coming our way that could endanger thousands of lives. It's something to do with the Knights of Soaring. I don't
Is
know if
he
that name
specific
means
at all?
anything to you. He said that these people are attempting to do something that will taint those who have been affected by necromantic magic. So basically anyone who's ever been healed by magic. And I imagine also those who are able to use healing magic.
She is quiet. She's analyzing. What does that have to do with us?
He said that he wanted me to advise you to seek his counsel. He said that you would be able to help him.
Well, we're definitely gonna have a conversation now.
Sorry, what was that? I didn't hear that.
She says, well, we're definitely gonna have a conversation now.
Yeah. Good. I wish I could come to you with more information, but I couldn't.
If there's some sort of catastrophe coming, this isn't how I would like to find out about it. This is suspect.
Exactly. Look, she gestures to Lena and Ro, like they know I don't get along with Arvis. I honestly find him incredibly frustrating to talk to. I didn't necessarily believe that he was a bad person, but the way in which he tried to get me to do this doesn't sit right with me. But if he's telling the truth and there are indeed thousands of lives in danger, then that's not something I can stand by and let happen.
I mean, that's an angle to consider. If this is somebody, if he truly is trying to save lives, then a little deception and arm twisting isn't exactly outside the. That might be justified.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't feel good.
A couple of other things too. I initially asked whether I
There's
could
more.
be present. Yeah, I initially asked whether I could be present for this meeting between the two of you, and he said no. But maybe if I were a vanguard of Valeris, he would allow that, because I don't like the idea of sending you in there alone.
So you're saying yes?
I'm saying maybe.
She puts her arm on your shoulder armor, goes with a little clink and goes, this has been a lot. I sadly gotta get back, but
There is
think
one more
about it.
thing.
Oh, there's more. She just does a little moment like,
I'm very sorry. Faris looks to Ro and Lena. We recently did some work for Arvis. You mentioned you were looking for an iron eye.
yeah.
He may have one in his possession.
May?
Hypothetically.
No, technically.
And how is that related to you working for him?
Just something we heard.
Come on, out with it.
We procured it for him.
Lena just looks at Ferris like,
So you know he has it.
I was trying to be coy. Yes, he has one. We gave it to him.
No, technically.
Exactly.
You know, for his sake, I really do hope thousands of lives are on the line, because at this point I'm a little upset.
Not as upset as the guy we took it from.
Which is
Oh,
a whole other
yeah.
thing.
He's not
But-
happy.
But you're
Do I want
busy.
to know?
No, you.
Do I want?
It's probably best that you don't, to be completely honest. Nor does it really matter in this exact situation.
Thank you. Not only have you saved my life, but you might save a few more. And it is better to know about the poison you're about to drink than just drink it blindly.
Exactly.
But if you take like a little bit of the poison every single day, eventually you will gain an immunity to it. So then you could drink a whole lot of it and it wouldn't even affect you at all, just in case you needed to know.
What
Hypothetically.
of the concept? And she smiles at the three of you, her gaze lingering on Ferris. As for my offer, think about it. I think you'd do a lot of good for this city.
I will. It's a lot to consider, considering my current position.
And she turns to walk out, and as just before she opens the door, in the din of the outside space rockets back into this little quiet icicle of sound. Yes. And do please do it quickly. Sorry to rush, but and she opens the door, and the wave of the din and voices and noises all wash back in. And she closes it behind her, and it goes quiet behind her again.
Mhm.
You're left just in this wrapping mural of death and destruction.
You didn't have to tell her about the eye.
I feel like I did. She mentioned to me when we were. I meant to tell all of you, and then so many things happened. She mentioned it to me when we were off on our mission together. She mentioned that she was hoping to procure one to help the city. And I thought about mentioning it at the time, but now I'm extremely glad I didn't, considering who the other person that was with us was.
Yes. Well, I mean, that won't matter for anything she knows isn't going to matter for much longer anyway. So that's probably fine. So should we call you Vanguard Ferris now? Or like
No,
the lady?
please.
Should we bow?
Uh,
Should we stand at attention? Should we walk a couple paces behind you just out of respect? Like, I just need to know what the protocol is. For
I
any
know
of
you
this.
think you're being funny, but I'd really rather you didn't.
You'd rather I didn't be funny? Or just joke about this particular thing?
The second one.
Okay, that's fine. I can do that. I'll give it like a week to let it set in, and then we'll see what happens. But should we go see what Zake's gotten himself into, and then maybe go see Arvis, or
Yeah,
Is there
let's
anything-
let's hope our home
Oh no,
is
Frozeland.
good.
Yeah, we lost you for a sec.
we lost
there,
you for
Izza.
a sec?
Oh, me. Oh, sorry, unstable internet connection. I don't know where I left off, but yeah, Ferris was just saying, let's hope our home hasn't been destroyed while we've been gone, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
At that, we're going to have the camera zoom, all cinematic style, over to Starfall Spire. And we're gonna go to break because it's about time.
all right.
Hey,
Yeah,
sounds good.
So
And
we'll be back in like 5-10 minutes. Stand up, stretch a bit,
Yeah.
drink
Yeah.
some water, and we'll
Hydrate.
hydrate. And
sit down if you're standing up.
And we'll meet you back here. So we'll see you in a couple minutes.
Bye.
we are back. Hello, hello, everybody.
Hello.
We're back.
Hello.
We're ready to do
E.
something. So,
You came back? What? What are you doing
no,
here?
don't.
Yeah,
no,
believe it or
shh,
not.
shh, It's fine. It's fine. Don't. It's fine. We're glad you're here.
Yeah,
Shall
we're
I-
glad you're here. Thanks for hanging around and engage with the story. Love you all. So I think we're just going to zoom forward back to Ro. My brain looking at Zoom names and immediately trying to blurt them out. Ro, Ferris, and Lena, all the way back to Starfall Spire, your little home tower. You go back through Crown Tower down the ramp, and you see the hubbub in the format that you came upon it resuming, just how it was. And you make your way back to Starfall Spire. And Zake, is there anything in particular that, like, as the camera comes back to you, what do we see? Let's put it that way.
So as the three other members of this dysfunctional family walk into the building, into the house, you see sitting on one of the chairs in the living room an unfamiliar figure. It seems to be feminine in shapes, wearing what seems to be this purpley, almost like with flashes of orange suit, you'd say. But it seems to be made of little tiny scales that shine ever so slightly when the light hits it in a different pattern of colors. Just a simple shirt underneath. It seems fancily dressed though. The hair just slightly longer than what Zake would have. The blue part is completely covered up by what seems to be extensions and completely covered in what seems to be very intricate, simple but pronunciated makeup. And yeah, Lena, you know what this is. Probably
Yeah.
the other two. Who the fuck is this person?
Yeah, I think Lena was probably like, "Oh, this is new. I like it. It works very well."
I mean, yes, of course. I had to do something because we're near Orlas. So
Mhm.
you had your little disguise, and I had to do myself the same.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if we're here, I mean,
As
now I feel
of course.
incredibly underdressed.
Well, no, it's just about blending in. I'm supposed to be someone important, so it is fine. As for the two of you, my pleasure. My name is Annette Dussol.
Oh. Pleasure to meet you.
And I'm here to help.
Hi, I'm Ro.
But at the same time, we should really decide what we want to do. Because two things important. I just saw Arvis outside coming from the city proper, so from Orlath, and that's suspicious. So we should definitely go and check in with him. And the second, probably more problematic thing, I think the wand is doing things to me. I kind of just blinked to the other place, but just not really. Almost as if I just saw it from this plane here. So that's also something of concern.
I mean,
And
the
there
skeleton
were-
mentioned it sort of pokes holes in the barrier between the two, right?
Well, it has the ability to poke holes or to mend them. That's our guess. But this didn't seem like something like that. It seemed almost as if I was transported just momentarily to this place. I've never been there before. There was a chair and a blade. No, a needle. Anyway, it was definitely different from usual. Just felt really, really sick.
How do you feel? How do you feel now? I think Lena like puts her hands like on your face and like she's wearing gloves, so it doesn't do anything. Just like try to like feel your
Stop
forehead.
it! Stop it!
And, like,
No, you're gonna ruin all the work with the makeup. Thank you. Sorry.
But like, are you okay?
I'm fine. Yeah, no, it's
It didn't
fine.
hurt you.
It's fine. No, it was just literally a vision, almost as if I got yanked really hard from this place and just got sick because
But
of
then
that
you said you were sick.
sun
Like,
movement.
are you okay now?
Yeah, yeah, I'm fine. But this just means that we might need to hurry up the process of getting this done. Just saying. So
Well, I mean, we can ask Arvis about that
Arvis-
too, I guess.
that was my idea. Yeah.
Go play a game of Ask Arvis, see what he wants from all of us in exchange for answers. That seems to be his game lately.
I guess. Well, anyway, shall we?
Yes, let's go.
Sure.
Wonderful. Oh, how did the conversation go?
Oh, well, Alika's willing to talk to Arvis, and she's sort of offered me a job. But
May I present the Vanguard of
no.
Valorith? She has
What
a
did I
badge
fucking
and everything.
say?
She has a badge.
No.
She has a badge. It was really cool.
It was pretty neat.
It was pretty cool.
Well, does that mean that you'll stop having the time to help us?
I think it might tie into a lot of the things we need to do, to be honest. But I haven't actually said yes yet, so.
Okay, I'm just wondering if you're supposed to be protecting the city, then if we need to, I don't know, travel somewhere to deal with this other realm thing that's not in the city, I don't see why the Vanguard of the city would have any business doing that. Just saying.
Okay, literally just happened. I haven't even.
Well, I'm sure there's like paid time off or something like that. You can just take a sick day from being the Vanguard of the city, and we can just.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have time, so we'll see. We don't really have time, but let's pretend like we do. Let's just chat to Arvis and try and get some answers. Yes.
Seems like
If he'll give them.
well, we'll have to see what we can give him in exchange.
Yeah.
So does Annette, Lena, Ferris, and Ro take a walk?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Delightful. All right. There is just a quick jaunt across the city to the Von Cast estate. Zake, you also see the construction going on. You see 3 new shops getting put in the bases of towers nearby that were not there before. They see it has a little like coming soon information. One's like consultancy, the other's an apparel shop, and then you've got like a fighting training center.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And yet they take out the bakery. All right.
Yeah. Sad.
Damn city planner.
I mean, you know, when the city planning says that the sewage treatment site needs to go right here, it really needs to go right here.
White.
That's how it works.
All right. You get to the Von Cast estate, the usual kind of wide estate building, no grounds really to speak of, but a gate. The door is closed. The gate is open.
Knock on that door.
The door opens. And there's a familiar face. Arvis von Hurin says, well, it's about time, wasn't it? Although you brought all your company. I guess I should have expected that. Everyone, come in, come in.
Nice to see you too, Arvis. And she just strides past him.
Lena probably like
pleasure.
It's like
A pleasure
Lena.
to meet you. I've just arrived in town. I was doing business in Orlas, so I have an estate to the south of the empire, and my good old friend here, and points at Lena, decided to show me around your beautiful city.
He blinks at you once and says, sure.
Lena is also disguised for what it's worth. It's probably less. It's less good than Zake's, but
Well, my understanding is you didn't actually attempt to make yourself appear as not yourself, just
right,
a different,
just a different me.
appearance.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. Whereas Zake is full on like, I am a different human being.
Yes.
hoo-hoo.
He ushers you into the foyer housing the dining table, as is usual.
Mhm.
So I heard you talked with our mutual friend.
I heard you were sneaking around our home, leaving
Me?
notes. Or someone who works
Oh.
for you, obviously.
Or mayhaps you have on multiple occasions invited your letter carrier into your home and I just asked him to leave it in a private dwelling.
Fair. So what have you been up to since you got back to the city?
Oh, just a quick jaunt to see the sights. What did you tell her?
I relayed the information you gave me to her. She is willing to consider coming to speak to you.
I get the distinct sense that you didn't exactly give it to all of your conviction.
I'm so judgmental of us.
It doesn't work if you don't believe it.
Look, if this threat is real, it is something I want to help you with. But I don't like the way you essentially guilted me into helping you by threatening people I care about. So I've got some more questions, if you don't mind. Now that we're not on a time crunch, you know.
I guess that is this is a more favorable circumstance to have a conversation. Fine. Mayhem dictum factum. My word is my bond.
Where to start? You said to speak to the doctor about these nights. He seems to be otherwise indisposed, so I'd really like to know more about them.
Semi-secluded enclave of knights up in the mountains of Sur. Almost impossible to assault. Almost impossible to fight. They've just made their own little exclave within other surrounding territories. But they have a very particular way of viewing morality. And they deign to impose that on those around them in a way that is going to cost lives.
What is this view of morality they have?
Let's just say they have a negative history with the necromantic arts.
So you're being vague when I asked you to be specific.
In their territory, it has been an outlawed practice for many a time, but they are disturbed by the fact that others still practice what they consider to be fundamentally immoral, evil, and unnatural magic.
That heals people. I'm not debating this with you because obviously you don't hold the same views as them. I'm just...
Exactly. But when they start to formulate a ritual that will impose that kind of function upon those around them, it becomes my problem.
And how do you know that this is what they're planning? Where'd you get this information?
As I said before to Lena, quite a while ago, when I worked for Von Cast, I handled matters of a certain political nature. Daggers in the dark, knives in the back on occasion. That kind of expertise and network doesn't just evaporate. It just becomes inherited.
She kind of rolls her eyes at how long it took him to say something very simple. Okay. Well, like I said, Alika is willing to meet with you. But I was wondering, just on a separate note, whether the name Ella means anything to you?
You mentioned this name back in the forest.
I
Oh,
don't think I did.
you didn't. One of your friends did. Not.
Oh, right, okay.
Nat doesn't remember who blurted it out,
Oh,
but
okay.
it did get nodded.
Mhm.
I'd have to say, it's not something I'm familiar with.
Had you been to that place before? You were waiting there for us.
No, but I had familiarity because I knew the doctor's agenda.
At this point, Annette kind of speaks slightly loud, like pretending to whisper to Lena, but in order that Arvis hears as well, and Faris. Excuse me, dear. I'm so terribly sorry. What did you say the name of this gentleman was? Full name, because you mentioned it earlier.
That was to me.
Yeah.
You wanted to know what Arvis's name was? Sorry, I was futzing with something.
Yeah, full name. I assume that Lena knows.
Arvis's full name? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Arvis von Rinth?
Oh, that's curious. I knew someone with the exact same name in the Empire. They had a very big house, but it was abandoned, I think, for quite some time. Are you cousins, perhaps?
Oh, a relative of yours.
Is it a common name?
I understand now. It's not a common name, but it is just another thing I've inherited down in the family line. You know, it's like sometimes you get named after your grandfather. Sometimes you take the family's just 6 names that repeat. Must be some distant connection.
Oh, I see. So earlier, when I saw you going into the Empire, now I was just doing the connections in my brain. I saw you from far away, actually, in one of the little gondolas. I find them very cute, by the way. I thought you went to visit family. I was trying to, maybe we know similar people, but no, my mistake. You don't know anyone that lives in the Empire.
Like I said, I was just taking a morning in to visit the town. Sure, it is entirely coincidental.
My apologies. I was just wondering if we knew people in common. This is. I talk to a lot of people. That's why. But if you have no idea about anyone in the Empire, then never mind.
Jake, shut up.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Oh, good. Fine. I couldn't remember that new name.
You're very cute, but ultimately annoying.
I agree.
You know what else is annoying, by the way, Arvis, is that you are behind our backs using us and trying to manipulate Faris here to do your bidding in order to achieve some, ulterior goal that apparently is cloaked under the guise of saving thousands of lives. And we just found a pretty old and powerful skeleton wizard dude that was protecting a wand that is slightly related to what I'm suffering with. So if you don't mind, stop being cryptic and please tell us what you know about this.
Couldn't have said it
A
better
little bit of
myself.
truth then. A little
Ro,
bit of truth then.
Ro has been very
Ro?
quiet and kind of pouting and like drawing on the table with like the dirt on their finger. And if you
What's
look
this
over, they're
from?
definitely sketching kind of a bad child's drawing of a skeleton because we also heard Billy Bones say Arvis's name. So Ro is just kind of sulking and like listening and
Oh, bro.
drawing a skeleton and dirt on his table, which they just were told people don't like.
That's right. Stick it to the man, Ro.
He looks at Zake directly and says, "This is." And he pauses, turns to Ferris and says, "This is going to be a little roundabout, but I'm sure it'll link up. Just be patient, will you?" And he turns back to Zake. When you deal in the business I deal in, sometimes you need to reinvent yourself. And at that opportunity, we have the unique option of choosing a name for ourselves. There was what I thought a lost history of a mage second to the wand wielder Lorelei, but seems that came back to bite me. So I knew I should have just picked something random. Is that really? It's just a coincidence. Do you need anything more?
Is it really just a coincidence?
Maybe I liked the symmetry of one, so fully and loyally bound to the devotion of another. I'm just value loyalty like that.
You say that truth and loyalty matter to you, but you essentially blackmailed me into helping you. It doesn't. I'm sorry that it just doesn't add up to me. I don't like
And
being used.
And apparently that's not even your real name. Who are you even, Arvis?
Using it so long that it might as well be my real name.
Well, but it isn't. And if you work from the shadows as you claim, then you might understand why we don't trust you completely, especially now that things have started to surface. And don't forget, we usually are quite more tame when we visit you because the doctor is here and he trusts you, but he's not here today. So if you want Faris's help, if you want our help, might as well just come clean. Help us understand what's going
Turns on
this.
Ferris. Says, well, according to her, she's already blown her opportunity.
What?
I meant it when I said you needed conviction for this to work.
She was fairly convincing for what it's worth. At least Alika seemed to think so.
And things work a second time if you try hard enough, just slightly harder. But I'm sure that if I give Faris a hand, we can do whatever he needs. But we need to understand why we need to do it.
For my plan to work, she needs to trust me very strongly. And I just don't imagine that happening at this juncture. After what you've done, after what you've said. And nor can I imagine you getting to a position where you're willing to do the things that would need to be done to cause that.
What exactly are you planning to ask her if it's that vital for her to trust you in such an intense way?
He looks you all over, considering. I might as well share.
Please.
Now we're going somewhere.
And as I mentioned, my work in the Empire left me with the network connections. Those connections come attached to might, power, military. With Valerith, there be a way to assault the Knights of Soaring and stop what they're trying to do.
So you want to use the city as a siege method?
I am no more comfortable with it than you are, but it quite literally will save thousands of lives. And I didn't think just saying it was going to be very convincing, especially considering the people who needed to listen didn't know me already. So I go through all this effort to find someone who Alika's going to trust.
I'm going to tell you something, Arvis. If you really wanted us to put if you wanted Faris to put her full heart on it, I'm pretty sure that if you had explained this from the get-go, things would have been different. I think that's a brilliant plan, Arvis. That's truly strategical mastermind level. But we need proof that this is happening. If you want to convince Alika, you'll need to show that this is the most important thing.
If you'd told me this from the beginning, I would have been able to speak to her with more knowledge. You are the one who's let this down. I'll have you know that she trusts me immensely.
Maybe I have made a tactical error. Old habits die hard.
If you want people to trust you, you have to tell them all the information they need.
Well, now I'm just curious. What is it that you'll do next?
Let's assume that what you're saying is true, and we really need to get these knights out of the equation.
We do.
As I said, you'll need proof. You'll need a means of convincing Alika that this is a problem. Convincing the rest of the higher figures of the city. So how do you have this information exactly? Tell me.
In more specific terms than you gave before.
What I need is not to reveal my source, but to engender trust. That's what Faris is for.
You're still not getting this.
You know what else inspires trust? Credible sources. I hear those are good.
You a scientist?
Maybe perhaps in another life, Arvis. Not now. But what I do know is people and what makes them tick. Not wanting to be offensive here, but from our interactions, it seems that you lack perhaps a bit in that department. And this is why perhaps you not only need Faris's help, but perhaps mine as well. And I am willing to help if this is true. But I am telling you, as someone that understands how people view the world, their emotions, their reactions, we need proof. Even if it turns out it's made up, or if the proof that you have is not enough, we embellish it. But we need something to go from.
Wait, you're telling me to be truthful and then immediately suggest lying and falsehood?
I would say that embellishing a truth is not lying. It's just fighting for your case.
Isn't that all I've ever done?
No, you do the opposite. You take what is true and real and diminish it. Release tidbits of it, piece by piece, making people frustrated and angry and less likely to trust you.
Like, that kind of sounds like what Alika was fighting against. I don't know if she's going to buy into that.
If you sell it, she will.
Exactly.
don't
But
have
of
to
course,
lie to her.
this is if we don't have actual truth to go from, Arvis. And that's up to you.
The sources I have wouldn't be exactly appreciative of me turning them over. I can show you papers that say it. I can't include the names.
His information is
Credibility is not something I peddle in.
See.
his information has been right in the past. I don't know why all of a sudden there's so much doubt. I mean, this is big, so obviously it's important to ask questions, but I know information that Arvis has given us before has been correct. So what is to say that it's not now?
Thank you.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not doubting the credibility of the information. I'm just seeing what angle we can play.
I don't understand the problem here. We know you, some of you at least trust me that my information is correct, and we have a way of convincing the person we need to convince. What's the problem?
Doesn't matter how much Alika trusts Ferris. I believe that if she waltzes in there and says, let's use the city as a siege weapon, or trust Arvis, and then you mention it, that's not going to make Alika just go for it. As I said, you need to understand what makes her tick, and that is where Ferris might help. She's had some run-ins with her. Maybe she knows.
I can tell you that it will take a lot to convince Alika to use the city as a literal siege weapon.
Love will do weird things to people.
And confirm.
What?
Like I said before, I needed somebody that could make her trust me. An irrational kind of trust. What's so more irrational than falling for somebody? Do you get it yet?
Like I said, I don't like being used.
It works out better usually. They don't always find out.
Arvis, I see this is a lost cause. You don't understand where we're coming from, and we don't necessarily agree with your methods. So we can do this one way. It's the only way I see it. We let Ferris do her thing, but we back it up with something physical, proof. We'll make sure that Alika meets with you and trusts you as much as possible. And then it's up to you to convince her that this needs to be done. And if you wouldn't mind, I would suggest that Ferris needs to be present. If not both of us, at least Ferris.
I'll be there.
If I give you a seed of it, do you think you can embellish a document or two for credibility's sake?
I can. If Ferris is happy for me to.
How much embellishment are we talking here?
Depends on how much seed we have.
I'm asking Arvis that question.
An entire detailed report covering all the information required, just with the sources and serial numbers a little filed off.
that's what it takes to protect your sources, I suppose. Will she believe that?
Depends on who's selling it.
But if we see who the sources are first, which we will have to if Zake embellishes this document, then at least we can know where it's coming from. She looks at Zake.
As I said, I don't think we're really understanding each other. So if Arvis wants to disclose that information, it would definitely be beneficial for us. If not, then I work with what is given.
Always do. So is that a plan? Do we have an accord?
Yes. I suppose.
I guess on some level I owe you an apology, don't I?
Maybe several.
Look, sometimes I am a firm believer that sometimes the ends do justify the means, but that doesn't mean we cannot find them regrettable. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. But just know that if you want me to help you with anything in the future, lying to me, manipulating me, and using me are not the way to get it done.
Ferris, tell me, did you trust me when I first met me?
I felt like we were very different people. I didn't necessarily think you were a bad person or untrustworthy. It sort of built up over time.
Somehow doubt that. When you're used to people distrusting you, it becomes mutual. Doesn't mean we can't learn, move on. Lena, have you killed your little bird yet?
No, not yet. Not for lack of trying. Working on it. Actually, I was hoping to steal a moment of your time when we were all done here.
I think we're done.
If you don't mind, I do have a few more questions regarding a different subject, Arvis.
And this is such a drain on pacing. Come on.
The wand you mentioned, Arvis.
How is that treating you?
Lorelei, was it? It's curious. I wonder if you knew something more about it, or perhaps know of someone that could help me with it.
Admittedly, my expertise is in the shadows of politics, knives in the back, papers to be signed. But I guess I do dabble in the arcane arts from time to time. After this is over, maybe we'll have that discussion again. You have time for it. Enough time to save a few lives on the way out of your swan song.
I think time is on our side, but I respect that. Better save 1,000 than my own. Let's just hope there is time.
We'll
Anyway.
make sure there's time. We'll make sure there's time,
Mhm.
Zeke.
Sure. I guess that concludes negotiations.
He looks at Lena.
And I'm gonna look at the other three and be like, I can meet you back at home?
Are you sure?
Yes. I'll be fine.
Okay.
Should I stay with you?
No, it's fine. Chat.
Okay. All right. See you later.
Let's go. Ro, come on. She'll like put out a hand for Ro.
Ro will slide off their chair and take Ferris's hand. And they're still looking very sad and pouty.
Aw.
But like right before we leave, as we're on the way out, Ro will just sort of stop and turn to Arvis and be like, "Well, I trusted you." And before I go, I'm gonna just sort of reach out and touch. I'm just gonna say there's like a suit of armor on display next to the door. I'm just gonna touch it and sort of push it over so it turns into a bunch of flowers that like scatter all over the floor. Because I have a ability called Steel Sprout that lets me turn non-magical metal into plants. So I just like knock it over, and before all of the metal comes clattering, it turns into just like flowers.
You always do have such a special way of livening up the place.
Ro doesn't answer. They just keep taking Ferris's hand and sulk out, just kind of dragging their little bare feet.
Ferris smiles a little bit, but more like a smirk.
I do believe
Oh,
I've
God.
succeeded in upsetting a child.
Seems that way. Right. Well, I'm sure you're tired of being asked questions, after everything, but here we go. Anyway, although I guess it's probably smarter, to ask you what you already know about me. Because you seem to have already known quite a bit. I don't want to repeat myself just to try to, save some time.
Let's just say I'm familiar with your exploits back in High Cancer. Your little fluttering around and thieving.
Right. Right, of course. And you said that you have contacts in the Empire, your shadowy friends. Do you know? Of course, it's hard to ask after something that's not supposed to exist, but are you familiar at all with the Shadow Master?
Can't say I am.
Find that surprising, actually, but I guess what I'm driving at is a little bird told me that the Shadow Master is the reason why they were told to murder my lady. And I just didn't know if maybe you knew anything about that, or maybe, I don't know if you knew what an ardent was, or why that would cause somebody to be murdered by the Shadow Master of an empire.
Oh. Are you asking me what I know about Lady Corinne Lyon's death? Because that's a question I can answer a little more of.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm
Oh.
asking.
Narrows it down when you start asking about ardents and deaths in the Empire. There aren't that many ardents that spring up around there. Lady Corinne, well, she was semi-vocal against the new emperor coming in, the one that's currently in our city. Her succession of power was a little bit messy. So, as somebody with the power to change minds so readily, and the ability to make them feel those fires of revolt and revolution. You can see why somebody might want them taken care of. You can see how it might be advantageous. Do you need me to explain the ardent part? They leak emotions to the people around them. If they feel happy, those around them feel happy. They feel angry, it literally leaks out. They have some control over it, but they can never truly turn it off. But they get very good at hiding how they feel to the other senses, so it throws people off.
Interesting. And can you tell that that an ardent is doing it to you? Or does it just feel like it's your own?
It feels viscerally identical. You can tell if it fades or if it always happens when you're around someone particular. But the really insidious thing is that these feelings can sprout genuine feelings, just how a magic spell might land you in fitful sleep. Your feelings of anger might turn into real anger if you have reasons to be angry. Your feelings of affection might turn to real affection if you have reason for that feeling. Those feelings are no less genuine and very hard to suss out if they're genuine or not.
Interesting. Oh. Well, I appreciate it, Arvis. That was very helpful.
You seem distressed. Is something on your mind?
Oh, there's a million things on my mind at all times. But I don't know. Just it's odd when something you thought was going to be very straightforward ends up being a lot more bendy than anticipated.
I just shared a lot with you. You care to share back?
Oh, I thought that this was just something very simple. I thought that she was killed because she was wealthy, or it was just random. Of course, it couldn't have been random. I thought it was me. I thought somebody had something against me, and they found out who I really was, and it was my fault. I thought that she was dead because of me.
Oh my, you blamed yourself.
If I could have stopped it. I showed up too late and I couldn't catch them, and I loved her. So thought that there was something I could have done.
He gets as if he's about to say something and then just pauses and retracts. That can be very painful. I'm familiar. I'm not really the hugging type, but I feel obliged to offer.
I'm also not really the hugging type, so I feel obliged to thank you but turn you down respectfully.
Excellent.
Despite what my associates may say, I do appreciate the help that you've given us.
The 5 of you, such an interesting case study in loyalty and trust. 2 things that Zake seems to have very fixated on.
Hmm.
I'm sure it's occurred to you, but if you loved her and she leaks her feelings out, you have to realize there's a chance that those came from the outside, from her. Did
No,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Ardents, they work on proximity. If your feelings persisted away from her, that would tell you.
they did after a while. But I mean, in a way, it almost makes me feel better because I spent all this time thinking that it was just me. So maybe knowing that it came from her is of some comfort, I suppose. If maybe you felt that way towards me.
No. What was lost can be recovered sometimes.
What do you mean?
Zake's right about one thing about me. I'm a big fan of exchanges. And I really want to save these people so badly. This has become my home. And you, within this little microcosm, this case study, they trust you. They love you.
Maybe? I,
Do you understand what I'm offering you?
you can't bring her back.
I've done less for more. Other way around, I've done more for less. That was a gnat fuck up.
Harvis, I was just. This wound was just starting to heal, and now. I don't know. I don't know. I. If you had asked me even a week ago, I would have done anything to get her back, and now everything is shifted a bit, and I'm not so sure.
So that's Zake, isn't it?
And she just kind of like looks away and doesn't say anything.
You might have noticed I have a sense for these things.
Well, that's a whole other kind of stalled. But I just really
Well,
really know how to pick them, I guess.
well, if you're not interested in what I'm offering, maybe you can still help me try to push this through on my own merits. And besides, I do fully intend to help Zake out afterwards.
I believe you. I can see what I can do. I'm not really much of a people person.
Better than me.
I'll give you that. But
Lena, he gets up, kind of head towards leaving. Stay safe. I mean it.
Well, easier said than done, but I will do my best.
Let me rephrase. When you charge in the darkness, bring your friends.
That seems a little more feasible.
And you let yourself out when you desire. Don't go snooping around, I will notice. Neil locks out and closes the door.
I think Lena just sits there for what feels much longer, but it was probably just like a minute or so before just like trying to settle herself, and just leaves and heads back home.
As Ro, Ferris, and Zeke kind of walk out the property, as Ro is like arms linked with Ferris, Zeke kind of hangs back a little bit, looks back towards the house. You go ahead. I'll wait.
Sure. Thank you for that.
I didn't really do much. Sounded like only made things worse.
Well, that's just what it's like talking to Arvis, but I appreciated having backup this time.
Whenever necessary, I'll be there. It's just I don't get it. I don't know. I don't see what makes him function. I don't understand it. It's not like usually I'm quite good with these things, but I can't read him at all.
That's why I
Sorry.
don't like him. That's why I
I
don't
know.
trust him. I've dealt with people like that before, and
I don't necessarily trust when people don't let out their emotions. It's like a book, you see. The more emotions they have, the easier it is to read, the easier it is to find out what you need to say in order for them to be happy. But when they don't have anything coming out of them, then it makes my life hard. But anyway, if it is true that thousands of people are at risk, then at least we have to try and do something.
of course, that was never in doubt.
Whenever he delivers the documents that he said he would, let's talk again.
Yeah,
I don't want to do anything that you're not comfortable with in terms of embellishing.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. All right, go on ahead. I'll wait for
I'll see you later.
Little Miss Trouble.
So Ferris and Ro make their way back towards Starfall Spire. Is it just quiet? Ro linked arms with Ferris walking through this bustling town, a little moat of quiet and worn out, or is it we seeing something else?
I think as we walk, Ro will just kind of, they've still got their like hood pulled over their head. But they'll just sort of lean into Ferris while we're walking and just be like, you didn't really not have backup the last time you spoke to Arvis.
I had a feeling you might have been there, but I knew that you weren't in a position to speak at the time.
Oh, well, now actually, I think I've gotten the hang of it, and it might be able to work a little bit better, next time. But I'm sorry that I was, evenings droppings, because we were just worried about you and wanted to make sure that things would be, okay, and I guess things weren't really okay, because he was really mean. And I'm sorry, I thought he was our friend.
He was really mean, wasn't he?
He was really mean.
I'm sorry you had to hear all of that stuff. I didn't realize you were listening until after when he pointed it out to me, but
Oh, you know I was there too? Man, I gotta get better about that.
I think it's just him. Honestly, I don't know what he is, but
Sneaky.
hmm.
I don't know why, things. I know, you didn't really want to, say it while you were with him, I guess, because you seemed really upset about it. But, um, if things with your pack are hard, I just want you to know you have a pack here now, and you don't have to do anything without backup that you don't want to do. Okay?
Faris like takes her arm out from looping into Rose and just like puts it around Rose's shoulder and holds them close. Like, I know. I know you always have my back, and I always have yours, and the same for the others.
Okay.
At that moment, the Imperial procession heading back out of Valerith, you come upon it moving through a street. It's kind of busy as fuck. But you can see him heading off with the Emperor back off as it was only a 1-day visit to Orlath, and the day is drawing to a close.
Okay.
They're so fancy.
They are, aren't they?
Should I have been fancier when we went to go see everybody earlier?
Oh, no, honestly, it's exhausting.
I mean, it seems like it. Like, Zeke were they just getting ready like the whole time we were gone? Because that takes forever. That seems really exhausting. We were gone like a long time.
I mean, Zeke enjoys doing that. If that's not something you enjoy, you don't have to do it.
I don't know.
Would you like to do stuff like that?
I don't know. The like idea just sort of dawns on Ro, and they're like, "Oh, maybe, I don't know. This is I got this," and they like hold out their belt from Meanie, who was picking on some travelers in my forest. So we stopped them, and then I got this, and it was much better than the last one because that one broke. And then I got this, and I like hold out the tunic I'm wearing. That is definitely just an adult shirt. That I'm wearing kind of like a dress, like Kidling style. And I'm just like, and I got this from another meanie also in the forest, but it wasn't the same one.
I appreciate that you mug the meanies that you fought in the forest.
Well, they were taking things from other people, and I don't think any of this stuff was theirs to begin with.
That's a very good point. Well, I don't really have any clothes other than exactly what I'm wearing right now either, so, you know. Who needs that stuff? Sometimes you just need to be utilitarian.
Ro just hangs out in wolf form on laundry day. It's fine.
Faris maybe has one spare tunic. Just to spare everyone. Look,
Oh,
sorry.
I was going to draw us back to the other conversation, but you got something in the chamber. Go ahead.
Look, I didn't realize you were there at the time, but if there are things you heard me say to Arvis, some of it is stuff I'd rather people here not know.
Okay.
And I don't want to make you have to lie to anyone or do anything you don't want to do, but it's sensitive. You know?
I think so. Kind of. I definitely know if you don't want anyone to know the things that I heard you say, like, specifically, then I can definitely, I can, make that, just for us to know. Because, that's why you still have backup if you need to for any of that stuff, because at least now you know that you can come and talk to me.
Exactly. Thank you.
Always, Ferris. I will always have your back, and so will Tiny, so you get, like, 2 backups.
Oh, that's all the backup I need ever, obviously. Look, I think there's a bakery over there that's still open, so why don't we go and get you some donuts on the way home?
Ah, yeah.
And I
And
go,
with that,
I
why don't yeah. With that, why don't we pan back to when Lena makes her way out of the Von Cast estate and sees Zake awaiting.
You didn't have to wait.
I don't know, just felt like it. You okay?
Yeah. Well, no, but I will be. I think.
All right, let me rephrase that. Are you less okay than you were before?
Yes and no. In some ways, yes, I'm better. In other ways, no, I'm not. So I guess it's about the same. I, um,
Would you like to not talk about it for a while?
we talk about it if you want. I don't want to bother you. I know that you're dealing with a lot with this wand and trying to figure that out and all this stuff with the city and these nights, and it can wait. It's not that important.
No, Lena. No, forget about it. The one can wait. The city can wait. If you need something, just let me know. First priority, remember? Have your back. You have mine.
Mm-hmm. Just like old times. Yeah.
Some things change, others don't. As simple as that. Comfort in the old stuff.
Right. Well, he he knew about Corinne, like a lot about her, actually. And he may have offered to bring her back.
What do you mean? Bring her back.
Like, bring her back. I said no. Before you start going off on any lectures or anything.
I wasn't. I was just gonna sound suspicious. Just a tiny bit. So you feel the doubt in your head, but
Well,
seems like you made up your mind already. Just wonder why that was.
You can want some. Do you ever have that feeling where, like, you can want something so bad and it's like all that you want and you would give anything for it, and then all of a sudden you realize that it's not really what you want anymore?
No, actually. Everything that I ever wanted a lot in my life, I still do.
Oh, well, I guess I just realized that all of this, trying to find who killed her and trying to right what I thought was a wrong that I did, something that was my fault that I could have prevented. And believe me, I'm still going to find Nare and I'm still going to end her because I need that. But having her back, I'm not that Lena anymore. and wanting her back and wanting that life is not who I am. And I want to do right by her and her memory, and I want to get revenge for this wrong that was done to somebody who I cared about very much and who did a great deal for me, but going back to just pining over somebody day in and day out isn't where I want to go. She's gone. And she's going to stay gone.
I hate that I'm about to say this, Lena, but you know that if she were to come back, it doesn't mean that you would have to go back. You know that, right?
But she would need someone to protect her. If they killed her once, they would try to do it again.
At this point, the engines that propel Blair through the sky ignite and lurch everything to the side. It's quite a raucous noise, and as you glance in the direction that that noise is coming from, the back, quote unquote, of the city, you see a familiar shock of purple hair rope around up the arms, and she sees you. You see Nare the Vichin, and she freezes. And that's where we're going to end the session.
Uh-oh!
It's
To be
fine.
clear, that's the person who killed, Corinne Lyons, lady. That this whole emotion fest came from. I'm sure it's fine.
So Jill, no, next week is our finale.
Okay, sure.
Is
Well,
next week's
Megan.
episode titled Murder O'Clock? Because I think it needs to be.
So Megan finally gets a little murder as a treat.
A little
true.
murder as a treat.
Megan,
As a
it's
treat is the
up to
title
you.
name.
You have some decisions to make before next Monday.
Oh, she wants to die.
You've got like 5 people ready to have your back for it, whatever it is, though. There's so much back having.
It's gonna be really funny when Nunu can't make it and you have to 1v1. Rust, no scopes only.
Oh my god.
Yes. Sorry, I can't make it. It's done. It's
It's
This
okay.
has
Faris and
been-
Ro happen to be in a bakery nearby and they hear like some noises.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Not this time. This is D&D. Combat's quick. Anyway, this has been the penultimate episode of season 1 of Quest to the Soaring City. I'm sure we'll hit some sort of resolution by the end of next week, or we won't. I got plans either way.
That's what
Good.
season 1
I would also like
cliffhangers
to
are
formally say I'm sorry.
Okay, I see how it is. It's gonna
For
be that
what?
kind
And
of
that
finale.
I'm sorry.
For what?
Oh, no.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's all fine.
as we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, just to mention again, we are now Quest affiliates. If you want to pick up the book or buy anything at their shop, you can use our code No Initiative, one word, all caps, and get 10% off your order. We get commission on that, I think, something like that. And also, because of that, we are going to do a season 2 of this. After we break everyone next episode, we'll pick up the pieces in a little bit later. And I'm Nat. You can find me here every Monday. I don't got anything else important to share today. Sam, you want to go?
Sure, I can go first. Hey everyone, I am Sam. You can find me on Twitter at @TheSamWisest. I'm Samwise_GameG here on Twitch, except for today where I was Chromatic Chimera on Twitch. I'm a disability advocate and a TTRPG streamer. I'm also the accessibility director here at the Chromatic Chimera. I'm one of the admins. You can see me this Wednesday. I will be back here for our fantasy age game, Agora's Bells. We are in hell. It's going to be terrible. I'm half frozen right now. It's gonna be great, so come and check that out.
Totally fine.
Yeah, this is fun. And on Saturdays, come and see me here at 2 p.m. for our Monster of the Week campaign, Mysteries of the Mojave. So check that out. And I just want to do a quick thank you to the sponsors here for the Chromatic Chimera Tabletop Loot. You can use code SHIELDMOM, all lowercase, for 15% off your purchase. And Heartbeat Dice are another fantastic dice maker. You can use code Chromatic, all in caps, for 10% off. And we are also members of the Roll20 Spotlight program. They do a lot to help, support us as small creators, and we're just very grateful for all of their wonderful love over the last few months. That's it for me. I'll drop it down to Nunu next.
Thank you, Sam. It is I, indeed, Nunu. You can find me online where you find people online at jnunutext. That's jnunutex. And yeah, for now, I'm taking things slow. So even if you follow me there, you're not going to see much activity. I have stuff to finish. So you'll only see me playing this campaign here. But hopefully towards the end of the year, maybe early next year, I'll be doing more stuff, which is exciting. But for now, that's it. Nothing too interesting. So I'm just going to shoot it up to Isa. I think it's this way. If it's not, well, no, it is.
I don't know because I haven't had the overlay open this entire time. Hey, I'm Isa. You can find me at Evil Clever Dog on Twitter and Instagram. I do cool cosplay things as well as cool streaming things. And you can also find me on Thursdays doing a stream of Pokemon Black with my friend Finn, who is the DM of the Mojave stream that Sam mentioned. We stream on Thursdays at 8 p.m. on their Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/FinnTheBin. And you can also find me, I'm part of the Asians Represents Critical Read Al Qadim team. We stream every third Saturday of the month, but the episodes go up on YouTube, so you can find all the previous episodes on the Asians Represent YouTube channel. So yeah, and the next stream should be October the 17th. So yeah, that's me, and passing it to Megan. I don't know where she is, so I'm not
above
in
you.
way.
I'm above you.
Yeah, you have to use the one. You can just point up.
Yeah, I'm
To Megan.
Yes, hi. I am Megan. I have been your spy this week who has many thoughts and feelings and emotions. You can find me most places you can find people on the internet at MeganLynnFTW, mostly where I scream about TTRPGs and that fun stuff. Obviously you can find me here with these wonderful people. You can also find me tomorrow back here at 7 p.m. Eastern for my show Unprepared, where I facilitate GMless and Prepless games for a rotating cast of people, which is basically just whatever friends I can pull in and convince to play a game with me. Tomorrow we are playing Beak, Feather, and Bone, which is a super cool map assignment world building game about a city of Ravenfolk, except we are playing the expansion Scale Talonbone, which is about mermaids, so it's totally my jam, and I'm super excited to be playing that. Also, I'm an indie game designer, and you can find any of my games at meganlynnftw.itch.io. I have a new one coming out this week that I just finished that I'm very excited about, so you can check that out if GMless and Prepless games are your thing. And yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, everybody, for hanging out with us for this good time. So
We love you.
we love you very much.
Thank you
Y'all
for
are
tuning in.
amazing.
Thank
We will see
you.
you next week for the season 1 finale, which is sure to be just as dramatic as this episode was.
It's gonna be
Was this
lit.
episode
That was gonna
dramatic?
be good.
I feel like it was dramatic.
Yeah.
I felt
There was
felt drama.
dramas.
Honestly, what episode wasn't dramatic? I put
That's
this way,
fair.
So
True.
That is very fair.
That's fair. Tuesday.
So we will see y'all right back here
alrighty.
next week for our season 1 finale. Bye.